Hi, this is the video for Daf Samekh Zayin, page 67 of Masechet Avodah Zarah for Daf Shevui. And I wanted to go over a couple of the general principles regarding notein tam lifgam, prohibited substances which impart a worsening flavor to a mixture. This is a very important klal, a very important general rule in the laws of kashrut, so it's worth going over for a couple of moments. First of all, just to go back over the issue of notein tam, the rabbis determined that if a forbidden substance falls into a mixture and imparts a flavor to it, that the mixture is prohibited because of the prohibited substance. If you can't taste it, or if it doesn't improve the flavor, we'll see that in a second, then the mixture is permitted. Some of you have asked on our Facebook group, which I encourage you all to join, well, what about the case of batel b'shishim, something that's annulled in a 60th? And the truth is, the Talmud almost never mentions the notion of batel b'shishim, a prohibited substance is annulled at a ratio of 60-1. And the Talmud always prefers almost always prefers notein tam, imparting a taste. Now, the question then became a practical question. Well, how do you taste something if it might be prohibited? If I take a taste, let's say there's some pork that might have fallen into my soup, and let's say I take a taste of it and I can't taste it, all good. But if I can taste the pork, now I've had pork and that's a sore. So the Gemara says you should give it to a non-Jew. The problem is maybe a non-Jew's not around all the time. How reliable is that kind of test? So the Gemara in Masechet Chulin, in Tractate Chulin, said that you use the ratio of 60-1, which also, by the way, has to be estimated. But to get back to the principle of notein tam, Rabbi Yochanan in our sugya gives a very usable rubric for understanding the different levels of prohibited mixtures. If something falls into a mixture and it has tam v'mamash, that means, let's say, a piece of pork falls into the soup and it's a whole piece, a chunk of pork, and you could taste it throughout the mixture, then that's the full-fledged prohibition. Eating that mixture is akin to eating the pork itself, even if you ate the pork. Okay, not just if you ate the soup or the broth, but if you ate the pork, even if you ate a whole bunch of other things with it, if you eat enough pork in a minimum amount of time, you have now transgressed the biblical prohibition of eating pig. Okay, but that again would be to have to eat the mamash, the substance of that pork itself. If you can taste it, but you're not really eating it, and we know that all tam has mamash. You can't get taste into something without putting substance. But the rabbis thought of like the taste that sort of dissipates throughout a mixture as not really being substantive. It's just taste. So if you can taste that pork, let's say you put some lard in there, and you can taste the lard, but it's all been melted throughout, and there's no piece of forbidden pork or forbidden pig in there, that's prohibited. Doesn't say whether it's from the Torah or not, but it's certainly prohibited. But you wouldn't get the full-fledged Torah prohibition of lashes, right? Which is how he expresses that it's fully Torah prohibition. Now, the final rule is this notein tam lifgam, something that imparts a bad taste. So there's two aspects of this, and this comes up in Reish Lakish's statement earlier in the daf. One is the forbidden item itself imparts a bad taste. And it's not just something else that imparts a bad taste. If the forbidden item imparts a bad taste, then the whole mixture is prohibited. So that's one easy sort of more lenient rule, more stringent rule. But the other aspect is even another version of Reish Lakish. Even if it's not strictly speaking the prohibited substance that provides the bad taste, but something else is missing. Let's say salt is missing. Some pork fell into a mixture, and it tastes bad not just because of the pork, but tastes bad because there's no salt in it. That mixture, according to the second version of Reish Lakish, is permitted. That's a very lenient permission, a lenient version, and that's the way the halacha rules. So if the forbidden substance doesn't improve the taste, and mixture tastes bad for some other reason, then the mixture is permitted. Again, I don't know if people actually do this in their own homes, whether they would eat a substance that has such a prohibited taste to it. I'm not so sure. Next week, I will try to talk about some of the modern practical ramifications of the notion of notein tam lifgam, where it really makes a difference in modern halacha as it's observed today.